Hello, Flirties. It's me, Benjamin, the Flirt Coach, and Gay Libra, checking in quickly here at Flirt Headquarters before we get into the full conversation, the full horoscope with Fernie. Don't go anywhere. Requesting at the top of the show, if you would please rate, review, subscribe to the show. 5 stars, Apple and Spotify, a thumbs up on YouTube, a written comment on Spotify or YouTube, a written review on Apple. Lots of ways to show some love for this show that we call Flirtations, and then share this episode or another favorite episode with a friend, a family member, someone you want to share some BFE, some big flirt energy with, so we can spread this flirt mission all over the freaking world, y'all. Yes, I've been saving this message for the bitter end of every episode over 100 times, and now sharing it also at the beginning. Okay, thank you for listening. Yes, to this unofficial intro for the intro, and now the official intro coming. Coming up on this episode of Flirtations, it's our summer solstice dating horoscope. With a brand new season comes new energy for dating, romance, flirting, and cosmic possibility. And joining us today is Flirtations in-house astrologer, fortune teller, and magic mystic Fernie, back on the show, here to read the stars and pull back the planetary curtain on what this season has in store for our love lives. What does the Queen of Swords want us to know? What is Jupiter up to, and what opportunities might some celestial happenings present for us? Mars has also got something to say, and we're kicking off Cancer season 2, y'all. Lots to get into, including the 2 big themes the stars and planets have for us, and how we can fill our own cups a little bit more. You don't need to be an astrology expert. Just bring an open heart and an open mind, and we'll take care of the rest. So get ready to flirt with fortune, boldness, beauty, and maybe a little bit of magic. Let's do this, flirties. Time to meet Fernie.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the Flirt Coach and a Gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, Flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Solulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, Flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Flirties, back on the show is your favorite fortune teller, magic mystic, and astrologer of the internet, here to share with us our dating horoscope for the coming season, what is coming for our love lives, our romances, our relationships, and our flirts. Back on the show, it's Fernie. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. I am just so happy to be here. Ben, you know I love playing with the flirties.
Yes.
You are one of my favorite people in the entire universe. And just spending some time listening to your wisdom, listening to your heart-centered, just like joy, fills me with so much joy. Let me just tell you, flirties, I look forward to these little meetings with Ben so much, and I hope that you all do too. We just have a really good time, and it really fills my heart with so much love.
Well, Fernie, the feeling is mutual. I love the energy that just we create together for these episodes. Back for the 5th time.
What?
Flirtations. Can you believe it? Yes.
I am so excited. 5 times. This feels like a long-term relationship that we have built.
We are dating here on Flirtations, the Flirtations own resident astrologer, fortune teller, magic mystic, and just all things beautiful creative energy. So thank you for sharing so much of you with the world and just helping us get to know ourselves better, right? What do we want out of life? What do we want for ourselves? How do we like to connect? What do we value in relationships and partnerships? That is, when we get down to it, that's what we're going to be talking about.
100%. Exactly that. Yeah.
All right. So for the flirties that are tuning in to one of these episodes for the first time, I'll give them a heads up about what to expect. We're going to learn a little bit more about you here in a moment. We will then do a tarot card pull. We will do a check-in from the previous seasons, what's been happening, what were some of the themes of our previous horoscopes, and then what do the stars and planets have in store for our love lives, our relationships, our flirts, all that good stuff for this coming season. And that's what we have in store.
I love it. Such a perfect little agenda for us.
I love it. We've got a true formula here.
We do.
And so if you could describe what you're wearing for the flirties today, because I can see it in its full splendor. Yes. Yes. Give us a sneak peek.
When I was thinking about today, and as you all will learn very soon, we are really focusing on two planets. We're focusing on Jupiter and we're focusing on Venus. And Jupiter is gold and Venus is pink. And so I have this like gorgeous little caftan that is gold lurex glitter. Shout out to Lauren of Palm Springs. This is her creation. But it has like this really gorgeous like pink as I'm like moving in the light. It has like this pink purple shift. Yes. It goes with my glasses. It goes with my hair. It goes with this beautiful little pearl necklace, mother of pearl necklace. We were just very excited to be bringing this out. And then it's also the summer solstice when this is coming out. So we have our little sun earrings to bring it all together. I was really feeling the fantasy today when I was getting dressed for this gorgeous podcast.
Fantastical, iridescent. And then I went with someone, I was like, what am I going to wear today? Like a nautical sort of, I was feeling kind of like sailboat, like sort of captain. I don't know.
Something like I think we're giving Captain Antonio right now. And this is super appropriate because love will keep us together.
Hitting the stages in your nearby dive bar around the world.
Look at us.
Here we go. Woo! All right. Thank you for that description of this beautiful captain and outfit. And now if you could share, I mean, I know you. I think some of the flirties have gotten to know you as well. But if they're tuning in, getting to know you for the first time, sharing a little bit about yourself.
I would love to. There's no topic that I love more than myself. Other than all of you flirties. I love you guys more than I love myself. But I love talking about myself. So my name is Fernando Javier Cosmas Olivares Salinas Jr. Please call me Fernie. I am your favorite fortune teller with the Golden Mirror Fortunes this month. And actually, the day after this is airing on June 21st, we are celebrating 6 years of being open. I know.
Congratulations, Fernie.
Thank you.
6 years. That is not an easy feat by any means.
It is not. And, I have not aged a day.
No, of course not. No.
And it just brings me so much joy. So I call myself your favorite fortune teller because I really want to earn that title. Someone is like, I want to be the person that you can turn to when you're needing some love, when you're needing some advice, when you're needing anything that can make your life a little bit more magical, a little bit more glittery.
Yes.
People that I look up to, like RuPaul, like Walter Mercado, like Diana Ross. I think they just took their talents out into the world and really shaped it around themselves, shaped it around who they were and allowed for that to be. And I want to do that. And I want to help you do that. I want to help you all really feel like you have the tools at your disposal to make fate and fortune yours. One of the reasons I really love coming on to Flirtations is because I really think that we center that around, like, how do you make love something that you are approaching rather than that's happening to you? How do you make love something that you are able to like create around you or you're able to like enact? I can't tell you how many times like a person will come to a fortune telling reading or they'll come to like an astrology reading and be like, just tell me when I'm going to meet him. Tell me when I'm going to meet her. Yeah. And it's, I mean, like there's no easy answer to that. I can definitely see a lot around that, but I think like the best things for that is really putting in the work. And I think like you do such a great job of centering that, Ben. And I really appreciate that. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, I so appreciate your perspectives and we share a lot in common there where it's like, because I've been that client where I've called up the fortune teller. I've like, had the astrology reading, like, when am I just going to meet him already? Where's my person? What do I have to do? And like, we've probably all heard the love advice that love is unconditional, right? But I think as adults, no, love is very much conditional, and it's about co-creating that partnership, that connection, letting go of those expectations of what it has to look like, what it should look like, who the person is going to be, what they're going to look like. Not that you're sacrificing standards, boundaries in this process, of course. Like, you get to want what you want. But when that's going to happen, how that's going to happen, it's about being open to creating those connections and partnerships. And when you come at it from that perspective versus putting so much pressure on that it has to happen by a certain point, I hope a mindset shift starts to happen and it becomes a little bit more of a freeing experience, a little bit more liberating, more fun, more joyous. And then when you tap into that energy, which have been some of the themes on our past episodes together, I hope it makes all of this a little bit lighter, more fun. Yeah.
Flirting should be fun. Love should be fun. And it isn't always going to be fun. And it isn't always going to be easy. And you do got to put in some work and you got to figure things out.
Yep.
But I think what you and I do really well, I think, is to infuse it with that fun.
Yeah.
And we want for all of you flirties to just feel even when the days are dark, even when the days are gloomy, you have a little bit of glitter Lurex coming at you. Ready to shine.
Yes, you listen to this episode or any of the past episodes with Fernie. I mean, the energy is there. The love is there. I think the hope is there. It's just, I love our conversations. And I want to ask you one more question here about the origin or perhaps the meaning of Golden Mirror Fortunes, because I love the way, I love that story. And I love the way that you approach astrology.
Well, Golden Mirror Fortunes, as we just heard, started 6 years ago. I was in a really awful relationship at that time. I was dating a horribly abusive person who was just, really awful for me. But I loved him. It was like Ariel and the Little Mermaid, but I love him, Daddy. And it was really awful. And I needed a way to be able to get myself out of that dark cloud.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was January and a month before we broke up, and I am on Instagram and I'm like, why don't I have one? Why have I not made this a thing? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a fortune teller. And I had already been a telephone psychic for 6-ish years, 7 years, something like that. It was a long time. I was like, well, why am I working for other people? I'm fabulous myself.
Let's go into business.
I started Golden Mirror Fortunes, my first posts, and I leave them up just as a reminder of where I've come from.
Me too, bro. Me too, right? No delete policy.
I'm like, what is this? Why are these filters?
Oh my god!
Why am I doing this? And so I was thinking of a name. And I was like, how am I going to name this? And the 3 words are distinct in my heart. And they came out distinctly. So gold is my favorite color. And it's my favorite color because it's the color of success and of winning. And I know that I am very loving and I'm very kind, but I am a diva. And I want to be number 1. So I want the gold medal.
Yes.
I want the gold trophy.
Oh my God. We have that in common as well.
Right? Why am I not going to be the best? Why am I going to be silver or bronze? No, it is gold. And then fortunes, because I knew that it was not always going to be just tarot. I knew that it was going to be astrology and magic and brujeria and all of these things.
Yes.
But the mirror part was really the
favorite
part. Yeah, the mirror part is really where it came together. I want to be a light reflecting back to you. I want to be the mirror in which you can see yourself, in which you can see who you are, in which you can see your life. Yes. And I can reflect that beautiful light back to you. I can reflect everything that you need back to you. I want for you to be able to see, everyone to be able to see just how beautiful and amazing and loved and filled with goodness you are. And so as the mirror of that, I want to be able to shine that light onto you. I want to be that person, that goddess, that fairy that you can make a wish upon and be like, I want to be that. I want to look like how that person looks at me. And I actually do think it's really, I don't think it's changed my approach, but I think it really does inform my approach to fortune telling. Because I know that I'm your mirror. I know that, like, at the end of the day, like, I have to shine the very best version of you onto you, because if I don't, you're going to see something that isn't great. And I don't believe that you're not great. I believe every single one of you are amazing. And I want for you to see that just as clearly as I do.
I love it. And using astrology as a way to reflect on, back on what is it that you want? What's important to you?
Yeah. I think there's lots of philosophies on fortune telling. There's lots of ways that people do it. And I think some people want to make sure that you think that, like, things are written down and that, like, you can only do things one way. Mm-hmm. And while I do believe that there is a certain element of fate and fortune in this world, I also really firmly believe that, like, we are co-creating that, and if you want something and it just is not, like, reflected in the sky or in the cards, let's figure out how we can make it happen.
Let's figure it out. Yeah.
And let's see how we can use fate to support your dreams.
Yeah. I love that, because I like this. It's sort of intangible variable in dating and relationships is fate and timing too.
And I mean, like, I hope none of you flirties who have ever heard this have ever heard me say, like, you cannot go out when Mercury is retrograde. Stay at your house. Don't talk to anyone. Like, no, like, you have to live your life. Like, your life is going to be your life.
Absolutely.
Whether, like, on June, I'm looking at, like, the thing, like, whether, like, on June 23rd, the sun's squaring Neptune. This means that, like, fantasies are going to be, like, overriding our head. I can't tell you to not go to work because you're going to be, like, stuck in bed wanting to, like, think about these things. If you have work, you got to go to work. Like, you got to get that coin, and you have to do it. But, like, you can be thinking, like, oh, like, today I might be a little bit more daydreamy. Let me make sure that when I have that meeting at 10, I take in, like, an extra cup of coffee and I'm taking extra clear notes. Yeah. So, like, that daydreaminess doesn't make things, like, worse,
Right. I just love that approach of co-creating your life with the universe. And it just feels really empowering to me. Like, on the days when I wake up and I don't really want to do this, whatever this is, like, things are just a struggle. They're harder than I would like them to be. Sometimes, Fernie, you come into my imagination, right? You're like the fortune teller on my shoulder, like, just giving me that pep talk.
And, I do have my angelic and my devilish side, so I'm sure that they are both there.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Sometimes it's, Benjamin, get up and take that thirst trap. Do that.
Why not? May West,
which I do. I know you got that May West side. This dress is very, very high cut for Fernie. I'm gonna say we're showing some décolletage. Yes.
This is what we're trying to do.
Oh my gosh! All right, Fernie, how about our tarot card pull? Talking about a little bit of timing and fate. This is unplanned. This is unrehearsed. Whatever happens is about to happen.
All right, Mise en Modes, what I'd love for you to do is to close your eyes and just take a deep breath. Fill yourself with your own energy. Fill yourself with your hopes and your dreams and your fears and your worries. Fill yourself with all of the things that make you you. And once you feel full, open your eyes. And I'm going to read our card in 3, 2, and all right. Well, this is very appropriate. I love this. So we have the Queen of Swords. And we, as we're recording this, are knee deep in Gemini season.
Yes.
And Gemini, I think, really aligns with the magic of the Queen of Swords, because the Queen of Swords invites us to be honest. She invites us to be a fair judge. She invites us to be discerning. And she also just doesn't put up with a lot. Like, she's just not she's not the queen that you go to when you want, like, a comforting shoulder. She's not the queen that you go to when you're struggling. And I think, like, that's really important for us flirties as we're entering into this period of abundance and joy that we're going to be talking about, that you have a really discerning eye, right? it is gorgeous to have a garden that is overrun with 1 billion flowers. But you can't put all of that flowers into a vase. They're just not going to fit, or they're not the right kind, or they're not the right color. And some of them have to stay in the garden, and you can go out and look at them. But some of them you're going to cut and put into that vase. And I want for you to have that like image in your head when you're thinking this month, and like all of these great things are happening, and all of these great things are happening over these next 6 weeks from June 20th to August 1st. I want you to have that lens in your heart. Like, is this the right thing for me? Is this what I need right now? And be honest with yourself. I can't tell you how many times I have been dishonest with myself about a boy or about a date or about like a relationship in which like I am convinced that this person is the right thing for me. And I wish I had her energy just like transforming these thoughts for me and being like, you got enough on your plate right now. You do not have to be fixing this 24-year-old little boy who is not like working beyond anything, has no ambitions.
Right.
No, this is not something that you need to be like plucking from the garden and putting into a vase. Like, let it stay there. Gorgeous, fun, but stay over there, right?
Yes.
You need that discernment when things are coming to you this month. And I promise you they are. Have that ability to be like the Queen of Swords and cut anything that isn't right for you out and just be full of gorgeousness and love and allow your mind and your eyes to see what maybe your heart is blinding you to.
Very interesting pull, the Queen of Swords. And so a few words I picked up on were honesty.
Yep.
Discernment, sort of this just managing your energy so you can pour back into yourself, right? The classic, you can't pour from an empty cup kind of mentality. Yeah, let's stay here for a moment because honestly, Fernie, like doing this work, my heart's been fairly heavy recently. Yeah. And I've been hearing, to no surprise, but that there is just such a lack of honesty in dating across the board, a lack of transparency, a lack of just being truthful with ourselves as well. And I made a video recently just talking about rejection and not specifically like what to do when you are rejected or how to, process or go through a breakup, but just the ways in which we're dating. If you're on the apps, you could be rejected 100+ times a day and then be rejecting some other people 100+ times a day, giving someone a few milliseconds of your time, determining if they're going to be your life partner based on a single picture. And I can't help but wonder if the ways in which we're dating and connecting are actually making it harder to get the thing, to have the relationship that we ultimately want, because where is the honesty? Where is the vulnerability, the transparency, the authenticity? And I think about also, I hear all the time that daters they're having a hard time with vulnerability. They're having a hard time opening up. They're having a hard time trusting because that vulnerability and that trust has been broken, or it's been used against them. It's been used to gaslight them. It's been all of a sudden, you feel like you're creating this beautiful relationship, and then 2 months later, someone just disappears. They just ghost. And I'm just like, I feel there's like just, I don't know, kind of this heaviness. And like you probably see this doing your work too, where sometimes we get the success stories, right? We get the flirts that go really well, the client that maybe they got the job or the move or the relationship. But more often than not, it's what's going wrong. We hear about the struggles and the hard times and the despair and the grief and the loss and the frustration and the overwhelm. And it's like, it's hard to be with that every single day and somehow be that light, turn that around, and just bring hope to situations that may seem hopeless.
I think this is actually something I've been reflecting on a lot lately. I am going to be a lady of a certain age in 6 days. And while I think I will always struggle with being like whatever age I am, right? I also find it just so beautiful. And when I think of the Queen of Swords, I do think of age. I think of like wisdom. I think of like that experience.
Yeah.
Thinking of like the maiden mother crone. She's like the crone of the tarot. And I think like that is very much like the period that I like. I don't think I'm a crone, but like I'm entering into like that period. I am mother. But I think like that idea that like we are receptacles of a lot of people's pain, right? Because of everything that I've been through all of my life, I think it has allowed me to see past the pain and into like the love, right?
Yeah.
And it gives me hope. Like I mentioned, like Golden Mirror of Fortunes like arose from pain, deep pain and trauma. And I think like, because of that, like when people are coming to me after a breakup, or when they're coming to me after they've lost a job, or they're coming to me when, they've been single for 6-ish years, and they just don't know like what it is that they can do.
Yeah.
It is very beneficial to be able to be like, you're right. This is hard. Let me love on you. And I might not be able to tell you that like the man is coming tomorrow,
right? But
I can tell you what you should love about yourself. Yeah. And I can tell you what it is that you can be hopeful for. And I can tell you like what is going on. Or we can talk about like why this has been so hard. And I think like we are living in very interesting times. And I think like beyond just like some of the other stuff that we won't go into here. But some of the other, like I think like we do live in an era in which like our minds and our spirits and our hearts are a little bombarded with information.
Absolutely.
And the gamification of dating is something that like ink has been spilled so much over.
Yes.
And I think the apps like really make it like a game, right? Like, let me like match with 100 people. Let me like send the like, how are you to like 50 different like men on the grid, right? Like, how, like, let me like try and make this into a game. And I think like that does affect us. And I think it can make it feel like you're being actually rejected 100 times when in like, like that's not like necessarily the case. Like you are not being rejected.
Right.
You are just experiencing rejection, and maybe like that little shift in thinking might be helpful, but it might not. Cause I mean, like at the end of the day, like you still like, like this person that you thought that you could like didn't like you back. And like, that sucks. And that's very hard. And we don't do spiritual bypassing here, like we know that is hard. And so allow yourself to feel that that's hard. And just know that that's like the way that like the world is right now, and that like we will make it through together. Like that is why I really love working with you, Ben, because I think like what we can do is really help you see through like this haze of, whatever into a light of joy and flirtation where you flirties have the ability to really make the choices that are going to help you to find love and find that joy.
Well, I love those few mindset shifts already. One, that not necessarily being personally rejected, but just experiencing a rejection, someone choosing to not continue the conversation or unmatch if you're on the app, something like that. Yeah, I try and reflect back maybe if there's a lesson to be learned, or just sort of like just being with someone's experience. Sometimes it's not about that there's something to learn or like a mistake to correct or something like that. Sometimes like you didn't do anything wrong, and you might be looking for that thing of like, oh, did I mess this up? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I move too fast? Did I do this or whatever? When in reality, like you're just trying to make those connections, and having that still be a practice that you do, not just in dating and relationships, with your friendships, with other connections, and in your workplace, in where you go to school, just everywhere, out living your life, just making connection a practice. I hope I hope that's a takeaway, and I try and reflect back that as well.
And I think 100% that. And I think that's actually really what the Queen of Swords is inviting us to do. She's inviting us to like see ourselves and our actions clear-eyed.
Yeah.
And like to be really like honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
about like, what is it that you did? If you didn't mess up, then you didn't mess up.
Right.
Sometimes we do. The Queen of Swords is going to tell you that you did. And you know, and like, you have to have that too. Yeah. I know that like, I have definitely messed up in dating. I know that I can be needy and a diva, right? So, hi. And like the Queen of Swords invites us to be clear-eyed about that. And I think like the importance of that is that if you didn't mess up, like, know that it's not about you. But if you did, now you can like figure it out, right? And like both of those sides of the equation like really add up to something that is going to help you just be the very best version of yourself.
Yes. It's transforming that pain, that experience you were sharing, and how it led you to Golden Mirror Fortunes. And here we are 6 years later, stronger. I mean, stronger than ever. I mean, still like, it's amazing. I feel like it's a lot of what I do as well as managing people's hurt in a way. And that's, I don't know, that was something that is not surprising now that I'm reflecting on it, but you know, I thought it would be more dating advice, strategy, the tip, the trick, the how-to, the do this, the don't do that, the say this, right? How to flirt, how to break the ice, how to, you know, have the DTR, define the relationship conversation, you know, things like this. But really, it's questions of the heart and of desire and of connection and just life. Yeah.
I think this is one of the reasons why you and I connect so very well, right? Like, I think like what you're explaining, like managing pain, managing, you know, that heart, helping people like through what it is that they're experiencing. When I like thought about being a fortune teller, I was like, cool, like people are going to come to me. I'm going to tell them, yes, in 3 days, a tall, dark, and handsome man is going to come into your life. Yes. Or like the winning lottery ticket numbers are this and that, right? Yes. And like, that's what I thought that people were going to be wanting me to say. So I had like a whole spiel, like ready, like this is a what, blah, 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 you know? And then like, I would say 98% of my like clients, like what they want is like love, and they want to know like how they can make things okay. And I think you and I are both very fortunate that like we have the kind of hearts that can help other people access their own heart, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's it. But do you have those winning lottery numbers by chance?
I do.
I'll split it with you. 50-50. Fernie's the best. Fantastic. All right. I'm going out to get my Powerball, my Mega Millions right after this. We'll start just a love retreat, a love camp.
Oh my God, I would love that. Imagine like in Palm Springs.
Oh, I was thinking, where would we host it? And I was thinking Southern California.
There you go. Yeah. Our minds are aligned.
Like a Palm Springs, a Joshua Tree, places I've never been, but sound lovely and amazing.
I think people would love to go. Universe, if you're hearing, send it to us.
God, make that happen. I swear, if I walk out of my apartment today and find a $5 bill, you know what? If a $20 bill, finders keepers, and I'm putting it toward our future retreat.
I'm living for this. I can't wait.
There's going to be fortune telling, yoga, breath work, and lots of just fun magic.
Yeah, and flirting.
Dancing and flirting. Oh my God, how could I forget that? Flirting, of course. Let us get into our summer solstice horoscope for the remainder of the conversation today. Just revisiting quickly some of the themes from our past check-ins. There have been themes of love, desire, pleasure, joy. I feel like a big theme last one for the spring equinox was Delulu.
Yeah. Yep.
That came up, and I have a word in mind before we were recording that came to me, and so I'm curious if that will come up. Yes, as you share with us our dating horoscope, what the stars, the planets, the universe has in store. What you got for us, Fernie? What can we expect?
Well, today that this is coming out, happy blessed solstice, all of you.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. I love this. June 20th, 2025. And the solstice is the longest day of the year. And traditionally, this is a really great day for love. Like in magic, this is when like the sun is at its peak. The sun represents virility. It represents like sexual prowess. It represents just like heat and light. It's when the world is at its most ripe. Essentially.
Yeah.
And so like flirties, if you're hearing this today or even tomorrow, I want for you to do something that feels ripe, like eat like a bowl of cherries with some whipped cream. Take that bath and just like, enjoy the scents that like fill you with goodness. Go for a walk in a garden, go on a date, do something that is going to make you just feel filled with that heat and that light and that joy. This is also the beginning of Cancer season. And I don't know if this is the word that you were thinking, but this is the word that you've already used. Really what we're entering into in these 6-ish weeks is care. That I think is like the theme of these 6 weeks, with Cancer season taking the bulk of the time that we're chatting about. We're really being called to care for one another. We are at the tail end of Pride season. Yes. We have just been celebrating so much love and so much happiness. And I think like the part of this that's really important is that like what we're meant to do is care for each other. Cancer season is all about like, how do we care for those we love? How do we care for the people that we don't love yet? How do we care for people that, we really wouldn't want to care for? Like, how do we make a house for people to be able to come into? And earlier this month, 2 really gorgeous things have happened. On June 3rd, 4th, Venus moves into Taurus. Actually, it's on the 5th. Venus moves into Taurus. And when Venus moves into Taurus, this is actually my natal Venus little signature. She loves being there because Venus is the planet of love. Taurus is the planet of sensuality. Venus feels like the Empress, which you can see right here. It just feels like you're being filled with love. And Venus in Taurus wants for us to care for those around us. She wants for us to invite people over for that dinner party that we've been putting off. She wants for us to be able to like go out into the garden and like plant these seeds of nurture and care. Venus in Taurus feels like just really deep love for yourself and this sensual joys that like can only happen. And this is only going to be for a few weeks. Venus moves into Cancer actually on July 4th. So it's only like a month. But for these next couple of weeks, flirties, I really want for you to lean into the way that like you can love yourself, you can love the world. Light those expensive candles, put on that expensive jewelry, get the wine that you've been like dying to have, get that perfume, just make yourself a temple to pleasure and to joy and take care of yourself.
All right. Get the gold caftan.
Get it. Get all of the caftans and give them to me because remember, it's my birthday.
Don't forget. Presents are appreciated.
I do love so many presents.
Yes, please.
And actually, speaking of my birthday, the day before my birthday on June 9th, and it's going to be a year-long transit, which means that we can enjoy this until next June.
Okay.
Jupiter moves into Cancer. And if you are into astrology at all, like you just know Jupiter moving into Cancer is like literally one of the most gorgeous things that can happen every 12 years. And it only happens every 12 years. So it's either now or when I'm 52 that we're going to enjoy it. So both times. Jupiter expands. Jupiter makes more of. Jupiter is faith and hope. Yes. And Cancer is the home. It is care. It is nurture. And so when Jupiter moves into Cancer, where it's exalted, where it feels like at its most, care is expanded, love is expanded, faith and hope are expanded. We're just really able to access all of those really, really cute things that just make life even more gorgeous. And so for this entire year until next June, I want for all of us to just be thinking how we can let like the flowers of our heart grow free, how we can just be allowing our homes to be places that we have really co-created with the people that we love, how we can let the love that we have in our hearts just explode with glitter and light and fireworks.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it is the most gorgeous thing. And so I want for all of y'all listening in to really think about like how you can allow Venus in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer to come together to allow for you to have the most gorgeous time ever. Like this is like disco ball over the swimming pool with like floaties and like heels and like gold jewelry. It is everything. It is just the most gorgeous thing. So that's the headline.
Yes.
I mean, like for this time here that we're talking about, like those two things are very much in effect. And I want for us to think of that.
I love a disco ball.
I am basically a living disco ball at this point. I want to talk about a couple dates that I think are going to be really important.
Okay.
These dates, there's not a whole lot of like love that is going to be like specific to specific days. Mis amores. It is mostly like Jupiter is in Cancer, Venus is in Taurus, and then in Cancer. So just love, like just have lots of love. It's a really great way to start our summer. But one date that I think is going to be really, really cute is June 28th. So next Saturday.
Okay.
Mercury trines Neptune. Remember how we were talking about the Lulu a whole lot? That's what this is.
Okay. Oh, good. A whole day for Delulu? Well, I'm putting June 28th on my calendar right now.
Put it on your calendar. This is a day to like flirt because Mercury loves to talk and Neptune just loves fantasy. So like flirt with whomever you like. Find somebody that you want to flirt with and just flirt to your heart's content.
Okay.
This is a day to like put on your favorite rom-com and like just like enjoy it with like chocolate.
Yeah.
This is a day to just like really enjoy like the way that fantasies and romance are intertwined and how like you can just enjoy that. Like there's no hidden message here. There's no like, don't be afraid of like the Delulu. It's like, no, like this is supportive Delulu. This is like the thing that is going to get you to really realize your heart. Yeah. Do you believe in supportive Delulu?
Supportive Delulu, like permission to be Delulu?
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think, it's there in the in future flirt march in my theme song. Delulu is a Salulu. And like, for me, it's just like, I had to be delusional before I was confident, right? I think you've got to flirt with Delulu. It's just about flirting with the possibility. It's about flirting with what if it does happen versus what if it doesn't? What if I can't? What if it doesn't work out? Like, I think sometimes, there's so much advice about there. Just believe in yourself, love yourself, trust yourself. Well, I feel like sometimes there's a step or two or three in between that. And maybe, just maybe, we use Delulu in that process. Because to believe in yourself, to love yourself is amazing and beautiful, and we've got to do it. But if it's something new, or if it feels uncomfortable, or maybe we've are struggling with our mental health, or we've been told by in past relationships or parents or caregivers that we're everything that's wrong with us, I think maybe a little Delulu in between could be helpful.
I super agree.
Yes. So permission to be Delulu. Honestly, June 28th and every day of the year, but specifically June 28th.
Be Delulu, be crazy.
Fantastic.
On July 4th is another really cute day.
Okay.
Venus comes together with Uranus. Uranus is the planet of like innovation and rebellion and like weird, crazy things. Yeah. So you have this like put on like the crazy dress that like you didn't think that you could. Like, like go and wear your funkiest heels, wear the thing that like you want to and enjoy it.
Okay.
And then Venus moves into Gemini. Venus is like, okay, like I'm done with Taurus. I had lots of fun. Now it's time for me to like be curious and be fun and flirty. And so Venus in Gemini is going to be all about like just getting your flirt on, like talk it into existence, make that fantasy a reality and have a really fun time.
Well, I love this horoscope.
Right?
For the coming season. I think it's really wonderful. And the word that I was thinking of before recording, it was another C word. I love the word care.
Okay.
Being a part of this. And I was thinking connection.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I think these two things, these two C words are so intertwined. A lot of the horoscope includes connection, as I've just been like doing more reflecting, as I sometimes do at Flirt headquarters, sometimes to my own demise, but thinking about like something, going back to rejection and ghosting, like not that long ago when you were being set up by the friend, the neighbor, the family member, the person in your church or place of worship, or like someone in your community and your network, like that maybe lived down the street or the next neighborhood over, like there was no ghosting. If you wanted to ghost, you had to move and change your name practically. Like, maybe not that extreme, but there was no like just, never talking to this person again. I don't think people really had rosters or were dating more than one person at a time. It's cool that, we don't have to date specifically for the relationship, because I understand that's not what everybody wants. That may not be the place in their lives, like may not be where they're at as they're focusing on some other things, but still value and want connection. But just like the ways the dating has changed so rapidly, and even within a single generation, it's like, how can we not be overwhelmed? How can we not be burned out and frustrated? Like it is, especially like just with everything that's happening, no matter where you live in the world, being constantly just, there's always something happening. It seems like every day there's a headline that's like, oh my God, wait, what? And it's, so I love that care is coming into this. And a takeaway I'm getting is just reestablishing community, or maybe establishing community for the first time, establishing like those networks where maybe you have the friend that you don't talk to every day or every week or every month, but maybe they're your concert friend, or you have this niche hobby, this niche interest in common, and you talk to them every few months. Or you've got the friend that, you don't talk to a ton, but you're in a book club with, or you go bowling with once a month. And so I think it's about reestablishing these networks, these social networks, with different degrees of connection and degrees of friendship, because no one can get 100% of you all the time, not even in partnership, not even in relationship. I think sometimes when we're dating and in relationships, we feel like we have to give someone 100%. Well, if you give someone 100%, what's left for you when you experience a difficult moment or a loss, or with a loved one, or you lose your job, or like you experience an injury or something like that happens? Like, you still got to keep your cup full for yourself, knowing that comes back tenfold in your relationship and to all of those around you.
That really is reflected in the astrology that we're talking about. Jupiter in Cancer is about connection, right? It's about like building those connections and those soothing connections. Yeah. And it's interesting because since June of 2024, Jupiter was in Gemini, which is where like things run wild. Mm-hmm. And so what made me think of that is you were talking about like how we can't give 100% of ourselves to any one person, right?
Yeah.
Jupiter in Gemini deludes you into thinking that there are multiple 100% of you. Because it's like, there's just so much of you to go around. Like there's so many 100%. And with it moving into Cancer, it really is about like, wait, I love this person so much that I'm not going to like lie to them or myself, like the Queen of Swords invites us to think about, and to be able to do this. And I think with Venus in Taurus and then moving into Gemini, it's really about like, how do we bring that connection and that care to ourselves, to others, so that way we're not running wild, we're not running like, ragged, and we're really able to like take care of who we are and who we want to be.
Yes. And I love that. And a final thought that's just coming to mind, like, is the word perfection. I think so much of us are. I mean, yes, we have a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of just a lot of pressure to succeed. Right? Living is not so simple when you're just trying to pay the bills and take care of yourself and just make it day in and day out. But I think sometimes we attach so much perfection to like even our own self-care, right? If maybe you're doing a bubble bath and the temperature isn't just right, or maybe you don't have enough bubble bath solution left, or you can't find the perfect playlist or the perfect song, then screw this. I'm not doing it. It's all wrong. Why even bother? It's not worth it. Mm-hmm. And that's, flirties, that's self-sabotage in action.
That is your inner saboteur.
Yes. I think we've got to allow ourselves to experience these caring moments and knowing that they don't have to be perfect to feel good, to be right, to give ourselves that time.
Nothing in nature is always perfect.
It's perfect. No.
No, not at all. I mean, except for me, but
except for Fernie. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just glanced. Fernie, we've been talking for almost an hour.
This is how it just works. I think, both have like Jupiter ruled little parts in our charts that are just telling us we need to talk all the time.
Well, this is when two air signs, when a Libra and a Gemini get together.
Yeah. It's like, let's just talk and talk.
Before I send all the flirties your way to your socials to work with you, to sign up for a reading or another offer, any final words or insights?
Mis amores, I think like there is literally no prettier astrology that can happen than Jupiter in Cancer and Venus in Taurus. And so I really want for you to feel so supported by the stars, so supported by like the way that the universe is. We need a win, and this is it, and so just feel that love, fill yourself with care, and be discerning about where it is that you're planting your seeds, mis amores.
Okay. All right. The Queen of Swords coming back full circle as we conclude the conversation. I will have your links in the show notes below for this episode, but where can they flirties find you, follow you, and work with you, Fernie?
They can find me, follow me, and work with me on Instagram and TikTok. It is Golden Mirror Fortunes. I believe by the time that this is out, we will have a website, goldenmirrorfortunes.com. I know.
Wow.
Look at this. It'll be perfect.
Good for you. Oh my gosh. A www.com address.
Hello. It's Jupiter.
Good stuff. All right.
So super excited to talk to all of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming back on Flirtations for the 5th time. I look forward to our next conversation.
Me too. Adios, mis amores. Bye, everyone.
All right, flirties, that's a wrap on this episode of Flirtations, the summer solstice dating horoscope episode of the program for 2025. Thank you so much to Fernie, an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful soul, magic mystic, fortune teller, and all around just amazing, unbelievably incredible human being for coming back on the show for not the first time. The second, well, obviously not the first time, not coming back for the second time, the third time, the fourth time, but the 5th time. 5th time's a charm on Flirtations. We'll hear from him again, yes, in the fall. I think that'll be the next time for the autumnal equinox horoscope. Until then, check out Fernie's socials, his content. Work with him, his offers. He is there for you. Yes, go over, get yourself a reading, astrology, tarot cards, all the things. Talk to him about life. He's there for you. Thank you, Fernie, for coming back on the show today, and happy belated birthday. His birthday was June 10th, y'all. Happy birthday. And to you, the flirties, thank you for tuning in, for streaming wherever you be in the world. I do all of this for you. Yeah, it's for you. I just love creating these episodes for you, the content for you. Yes, it's all just helping you feel more empowered and confident in your flirting lives, in your dating lives, in your relationships, in your partnerships, and ultimately strengthening that connection you have with yourself as well. The longest relationship you'll ever have is with yourself, your whole life. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. Yeah, time to go. Okay, signing off officially here at Flirt Headquarters. My name is Benjamin. Oh, rate, review, subscribe to the show. Yeah, I said it at the beginning and then I forgot to say it at the end. Do it here too if you didn't do it before. Okay, signing off officially. Yeah, I'm going to say bye now. Okay, flirties. Happy flirting.